Hello planner friends, welcome back to my channel and thank you for tuning in today. Today's video I'm going to be talking about my book journal, and I will be walking you through the process of how I complete an entry in my book journal. And so let's just get started and we'll dive right into everything today. So first off, for my book journal, there are a couple of things that I do rely on. So number one, I do rely on my undated passion planner, which I use for bookkeeping, book tracking, my reading tracker, or however you want to call it. This is where I track all of my reading, the books that I've read, the pages I've read, my thoughts, all that kind of good stuff. And I rely on this planner to then use that as a way to transfer my thoughts into another format, which is my book journal. My book journal is this beautiful Archer and Olive collaboration with Amy Tangerine. It's in rainbow color, as you've probably seen from my channel before. And this is where I have more in-depth thoughts, notes about the books that I've read. And I like this format. So the way that I have it set up is that I do these in-depth formats per page. And then in the back of the book, I have a book tracker where I write down the titles of the book, the number of pages, when I finished it, and my rating. And so then, you know, I like to go back and do this more in-depth book journal for me. For myself, the reason why I really like this format with the book journal is I find that this is another type of memory keeping for me. So you might not think that having a book journal or a reading tracker is memory keeping in its traditional sense, but for me it is, because books are, can oftentimes take us back to a significant point in our life, or a particular situation or setting or place, and it can really be nostalgic in that respect. So for example, when I think of Harry Potter, that completely brings me back to my middle school and high school years automatically. And so I think the same thing of books. And so keeping the book journal and keeping my planner that tracks my reading is very important to me, and it's just another way that I can express my love for memory keeping with my passion of reading as well. So in addition to these two planners or notebooks, I'm also going to be using this Muji pen. I think this is 0.5, I want to say, but it's the Muji pen that I was actually sent from Kerala. So Kerala is my great friend. She's over on Instagram. I'll link her below. Her handle is @FromKerala. We are great friends over there, and she sent me this to try out, and I absolutely love this pen. I'll link it below. So if you are looking for, a great black pen, I would recommend this one. I'm also going to be using these Sensation Zebra brush pens, and that's just to do the lettering at the top of my book journal. So let's get started. So my last entry is book number 18 for me of the year, and that was Nevermore. So just flipping back to my book tracker at the back, I will see that the next book in line to journal about is The Secret Keeper of Jaipur. And so I'm just going to do my next entry based on that book. Okay, so let's get started here. Okay, so this is going to be book, let's see if I can actually zoom in for you here. Easier to see that way. Perfect. Okay, so this is going to be book number 19 for me. I don't know about you, but I'm always writing on a slant, and that's just how I roll. And so next that I'm going to do is I'm going to letter the title of my book. I choose a letter because it's a interest of mine and I like doing it. If you're not comfortable lettering and you want to try something else, by all means, you do not have to letter. You don't even have to use this format. This just works for me, and I'm just walking you through my personal process. But you could just write it. You could use block letters. You could do some cursive writing. It does not have to be anything fancy. Okay, so I have to concentrate while I'm doing this. So let me try to write the title. Okay, so I really like this notebook as well because the dot grid helps to keep everything formatted and really aligned, which I like. Secret. Keeper. Of Jaipur. Okay, and then underneath the title, I write the author's name. I'm gonna use my Muji pen here. So I put by Josie. Okay, so the first sentence or thing that I write about is where did I get the book from? So I actually write the sentence, where did I get it from? And this book this is a sequence to the first book that I read last year, which I absolutely loved. And so I got this from the library. So I'm going to just literally write exactly what I said down on my journal. Okay, so book from I've actually really used my library a lot this year, and I'm really grateful for them, and they've really helped with my reading. Yeah, so I was actually the first person on the list to sign this book out. So immediately when it was released, I got it a few days later from my library, and I loved it. All right, so the next thing I write about is when did I start reading it? So when did I start reading it? And so this is where I'm gonna bring in my Undated Passion Planner, and I'm going to flip to the month that I read that book in. And so according to my monthly view of June, I started the book on June the 27th. Okay, so June 27th. Next, I write when did I finish reading it? Okay, and so if I actually flip the month for July, I finished reading it on July the 5th. Okay, so that's what I find really helpful with my Undated Passion Planner. So July 5th. I mean, I'm choosing to write down when I started the book and when I finished just because those things matter to me. I actually like to see how quickly I can get through books and how I've kept up the pace of reading. So you'll see, like with my previous book over here, I ended it on June the 26th, and right away the next day I jumped into another book. And I don't know, that motivates me, so I like to record it. Okay, so how many pages is the next one? How pages. And this is where the tracker at the back is helpful because I record the number of pages. So it was 353 pages. I like to record the page numbers because, you know, maybe at the end of the year I might tally how many pages I read, right? Okay, so the next prompt is, how did I like it? How did I like it? Okay, this is where I like to write my thoughts. I like to, you know, kind of have an overall summary of what I thought about the book. I try not to put any spoilers in here of what the story is, because if I do, you know, decide to share this on the World Wide Web or with friends, I don't want to give away any spoilers for them, and I want them to enjoy the story the same way that I did. So I'm going to keep it very basic and simple. Highly recommend this book. Perfect. And then lastly, I finish off with writing the genre and the rating. Okay, so for this book, I feel like this is a historical fiction, so I'm going to call it that. And the rating out of my 5-point scale, it was a 5-star book for me. It was just so good. I mean, I read the first book in the series. I'm just trying to zoom out here for all of you. I don't know if it'll let me. Oh, perfect. Okay, let me just pop this up a little bit. Okay, so I read the first book last year in the series, which is called The Henna Artist. It was a Reese Witherspoon book club pick. I can't say that properly. And it got a lot of attention. I read the book, absolutely loved it, loved the characters, the storyline, everything about it. So when I heard about this book coming out, I automatically had to sign up for it at my library, which I did, and I was the first person to get it. 5-star read for me, easily. Just everything about it is so good. And I've heard similar sentiments from others as well. So if you read the first book, definitely get the second. There's going to be a third book coming out by the author because it is a trilogy. I'm not sure when she's planning to release it, but it was really good. So anyhow, this is how I complete my book journal spread for an entry of my book in my Art Journal of notebook. And as I mentioned, I use that in conjunction with my undated passion planner, which I keep track of my reading, and combined with the two, I'm able to complete my book journal spread. All right, that's all for now. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.